Yes, Gunner.
I just got a call, actually, from Kurt. Did you hear about this?
A call, you say?
A cellular phone call to my particular personal cell phone. I've got some insider knowledge, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Kurt says that that sometime in September we're going to be canceled, and we're never going to have another podcast again. At least on 420 Chan.
I can't say I saw this coming.
Apparently, it's just really hard to get advertisers for our slot, and well, you know, I've just been a tool this entire time and not a slot. So,
well, I thought our ratings of 7 were good enough.
Well, considering we're the only podcast worth talking about, I mean, you know, he just thought we'd go in a different creative direction. I heard that they're going to put on actually a My Little Pony fan cast, and we're being also replaced by a conspiracy theory show hosted by Ross Mandel. So we're going to start the show.
Juggle around, just quiet down your shadow. I'm going to hit the weekend progress is more life and love. If back to wrong, tubes like down blue. Oh yeah! Good at laughing times if you only listen to. Whoa! Serious. Oh, whoa! Get serious. Oh, whoa! Get serious! Enough!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Woo Get Serious. My name is Gunner. That is Omega BR.
I guess I'll just have to move the show to Destination Europe.
Yes, Destination Europe.
Oh, what a misspoke. The correct answer was Destination Canada.
What you talking about, eh? Joining us this week is the wonderful Omega BR.
You already did me already.
Well, that's Omega. And also joining us this week is Net Jester.
So, if we're moving to Canada, or we're moving to Europe, or we're moving to Cucamonga, does this mean I need to get a whole new set of shots?
Yep, it does, and you probably are due for them now, actually. I'm surprised you're not getting shot as we speak. Speaking of people that should be shot, Yank of DDS is joining us.
I'll take responsibility for that. I was the one in charge of Net Jester shots, and I gave him the rabies shots instead of the pure potassium.
Well, I mean, I understand the confusion there, but come on, man. Really, you got to step up your game. It's like you just missed the shot there.
Actually, I've been told by my doctor I need more magnesium in my diet.
You should probably pick up on that, because that'll kill you. All right, so speaking of things that'll kill you, Dave Meltzer reports Destination America has made the decision to use their out clause and cancel Impact Wrestling in late September, due to in large part of ratings not being good enough to justify the cost of the programming, and advertisers specifically refusing to air during wrestling. In the meantime, Impact will move to Wednesday nights, a move that occurred after the cancellation was made aware to key employees, suggesting the story is very much ongoing. TNA talents have been told the rumors will be responded to at the next week TV tapings, set for June 24th. TNA's relationship with Wrestle One is also over, as the promotion has hit hard financial times in Japan, leading them not to use TNA talent and TNA cutting Sonata. Dixie Carter reportedly told talents not to listen to ratings information online at the last set of tapings, as she and other officials are privy to certain information. And then there's this gem. Eric Bischoff, son Garrett, and partner JC Hervey have filed a lawsuit against TNA for breach of contract, claiming the company owes them back pay of excess of $114,502 for the final 3 months of their contract. TNA just got fucked.
Oh, I don't see is there some possible way they can get their asses out of this one? If there is, it escapes me.
Tell the truth, I guess. Instead of lying like they always do. I mean, it's kind of a weird...
Nixie Carter really wants to stay in business, apparently.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Well, she does want that reality show, after all.
And more TNA-related programming, apparently.
It's kind of a weird thing, because, for once it wasn't really TNA's fault. They didn't really do anything that heinous to Destination. Their ratings, it's still the highest rated show on the network. They can't control if advertisers don't want to advertise.
The funny part about the whole thing is the fact that it's the same problem that they had with Spike. They're too expensive. They run their cost of production are way too high, and somewhere there's a money leak, and they can't plug the hole, and they can't put money in the pockets of the people that they're supposed to be paying anyways. So it doesn't make any sense to me that this company is still going to keep going. I have a feeling that TNA will fold very shortly. I think this is their death knell, to be completely honest.
Well, Bob Ryder, of course, tweeted that people have been saying that for 13 years, and they're still alive.
They are, but in spite of themselves. They're not making money.
Of course, he didn't mention the cancellation, of course. He didn't deny it, and neither did Billy Corgan, who made a tweet that Meltzer was getting worked by a sloppy angle or something like that.
Oh, really?
If Meltz is getting worked, then this is a really, really good work. I'm not going to lie here.
Well, it's also really bad work because everyone's believing that they're incompetent and about to die, so...
they're having a hard time convincing people otherwise.
We've been saying that TNA is incompetent and about to die since, 2007 or 8.
Yeah, but we've been saying it, but the people who actually, own them and such, or, well, not own them, but have control of their destiny.
They really don't. Really, they don't. I mean, where are they going to end up next? I mean, Destination America, that does not seem... that doesn't seem like it's going to end well. And wherever they end up, even if they end up on ESPN 8, the Ocho, it's just not going to end well.
Actually, that probably would be not so bad for them.
Well, I've said it before, I think the best way to go about it is to change the DNA of TNA, so to speak. Not referring to Morgan, but, just stop calling it a televised wrestling company. And Meltzer even brought it up that, the thing about it, WWE has presented a way that wrestling should look on television, and that's why, and that to get that level of production, it costs quite a lot of money that nobody really but WWE can possibly sustain. And, USA can lead with the fact that WWE is one of the highest rated, if not the highest rated show on cable a lot of the time. And that's why, they justify having it compared to TNA, who thought they were being saved by Destination America, who quickly got buyer's remorse, and not necessarily out of anything TNA did wrong compared to the past, but just the fact that they thought they were getting, a big stack of gold, and instead they got a few bars.
Exactly.
Of poop. They got a few bars of poop.
I don't know if poop comes in bars. It's more like, in my grandpa's farm, they have these, pie things, and...
It does, and it's called Milky Way.
Okay.
not a big fan of Milky Way.
I think maybe they should forget about being televised for a little while and maybe just concentrate on being a good wrestling company, and then maybe try and get another TV deal.
Well, not even that. Just kind of realize that it's just not going to happen and be kind of a glorified independent. You know, do online shows, do the live shows that'll actually get live gates without all the production costs and this and that. Because, you know, the thing of it is, like we said before, it's not like it's not like they have an independent roster necessarily. They do have the Hardys, they do have Angle, they do have people who they have created as something of stars, like, you know, not that, for example, not that Bully Ray was not a star before he came to TNA, but he became an even bigger one in TNA.
Wow. At the end of the day, it's really sad because we don't want this to happen to TNA. Because while they get fucked, we get fucked too. Because it's another competitor and another alternative that goes by the wayside. However, I would argue that there's a big difference between now and and when the speculation began that TNA was going to go off of Spike because of the debut of, you know, Lucha Underground and a few other independent promotions stepping up, including ROH and PWG. Stepping up and trying to fill that void and trying to compete for the number 2 slot. I would argue at this point in the game that ROH has finally successfully moved up into that number 2 slot and is the number 2 promotion in America right now.
That was my next thought. How the hell is this going to affect ROH? How is the hell is this going to affect Lucha Underground? How in the hell is this going to affect PWG?
I don't think it's going to affect any of them at this point until TNA decides to disband. It won't affect any of them.
Yeah, it's a very specialized, localized deals that these companies have to make with partnering up with these networks. You know, Lucha with El Rey, Ring of Honor with Sinclair. You know, I mean, that is kind of the ultimate cruel irony is that TNA, for as much as they've deserved to go under, when they do, you know, you'll have people out of work. You'll have and
a bunch of production people that you don't even hear about, you know, being out of work too. So that's their families and their people, you know, going hungry essentially because they're out of work. I mean, it's not like they can't find jobs other places, or they would find jobs easier other places. But what I am saying is that, you know, it's another place to work, and they don't have that opportunity available to them anymore.
And of course, the grand scheme of wrestling and how, you know, here's TNA who got canceled twice in a year or two's time, and advertisers who want nothing to do with wrestling. You know, it's arguable that the demise of WCW and ECW was one of the worst things to happen to wrestling as a whole in terms of giving anybody else a chance. You know, and WWE having this monopoly, and yet it's still not exactly I mean, it's a juggernaut, but it's not, you know, I mean, you know, they haven't gotten a 3, well, they haven't gotten a 4 for Raw in quite a long time. They, you know, kind of struggle now to keep that 3 in the ratings, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, and I mean, it's this particular breed of wrestling is definitely due for another innovation or another sort of, you know, rejuvenation, if you will. I mean, I'm sure that this particular model works at this point, but at the same time, that third hour kills Raw, and not only does that third hour kill Raw because everybody tunes out at 10:15 and then tunes back in for the end of the show, they want, you know, they don't want as much wrestling on television as they used to have because, you know, people have a ton more options now than they did back, you know, even 10 years ago when we were first complaining about this.
Well, I suppose we should move on. Now, this is an ongoing thing. It's not like they're definitely canceled, but again, I think they're really kind of lying to themselves, and I think if they were just honest, if this is the situation, I think as unorthodox as it would be, I think the best thing for them to do would be to come out and admit it and tell the TNA Nation or T Nation or however you want to say it, yes, Destination doesn't think we're worth it. Please convince them otherwise. Call your cable company, get Destination America, watch the show, buy the merch, that kind of thing. Because they do have a nice fan base. But, so it goes. Speaking of TNA, as a matter of fact, in newer ground, we probably all saw Samoa Joe is now on NXT after the Unstoppable event. And he does have an NXT deal, and his deal is unique in that it is not an exclusive deal. It is a new type of deal for WWE. Him joining was, of course, spearheaded by Triple H. And it's a deal similar to what Rhino and Brian Kendrick have, in that he will still be making his independent appearances. He can still make indie bookings, but of course NXT takes priority. So all of those bookings for August he will be honoring. So that should be interesting.
I would imagine that he's going to stop. He's going to wrap things up and potentially join NXT full time, and then just get bumped to the main roster.
Yeah, one would assume so if everything goes well. In addition, we had the decision to have Daniel Bryan vacate the Intercontinental title was made on May 8th after MRI results revealed he was not in a position to return anytime soon, if ever again. Sami Zayn was cleared for TakeOver, however, it's possible he'll have shoulder surgery in June, and Hideo Itami suffered a shoulder injury of his own and could be out 6 to 8 months. At Payback, Rusev's Bulgarian was translated, and he did indeed give up and curse Cena's old mother, but he did not actually say the words "I quit," rather, "I give up." Speaking of Rusev, his Gold Star Award was actually stolen at the State College, Pennsylvania house show a week or two back. However, the person seemingly responsible posted a photo of him wearing it on Instagram, where people quickly discovered he had also posted photos of his driver's license on that account.
What an intelligent individual.
I have to just break in here a second, because I did see a post from the guy who had the star, and I feel obliged to tell it the way he told it. He said that, and this does sound a bit ridiculous, but he said that whatever happened, Rusev left it at ringside and everybody completely forgot about it. And he stuck around till after the show, and one of the ring crew gave it to him when he asked him, "Hey, buddy, can I have that right over there?" And the ring crew was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And I don't know if this is this is him being flippant, or this is
that seems absolutely well. The ring crew guy wouldn't give a fuck, because because it's a local guy paid a couple $100 and given catering to take up and put down the ring. I mean, that's all these guys are paid for, and they're usually local indie guys or a group of people that do this every so often in certain areas. So basically, I believe it completely.
Yeah, he says he didn't steal it, and he said send it back to WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. He mailed it back.
Well, I mean, the thing can't be that expensive. I mean, the actual photo he took with it made it look like it was made out of plastic, and maybe $10 on eBay or something like that.
Oh yeah,
I believe that.
Or some sort of cheap metal that was just kind of like manufactured, within a day.
Well, it seems the injury bug is hitting NXT, which is unfortunate. However, we're not spoiled for choice as far as people to step up. Of course, Joe being called Samoa Joe in NXT, it's a very unique deal. It's almost like when CM Punk came in, only obviously he was exclusive at the time and went through OVW and everything. But if they think Joe is a big enough deal that he can sort of do this. And Joe, we said it before. Joe is sort of an older guy. He's not necessarily gonna go to the main roster and become champion in 2 years.
I think it's funny. I thought that Rusev wouldn't actually have said "I quit" in that match. I thought that he would have said something else, and then the whole point of them splitting apart would have been because Lana misinterpreted it. And I was looking forward to that, but apparently I was wrong, and I was in there just, whoops, there they go, goodbye. No good reason.
Yeah, it wasn't really handled very well, I think. Hopefully Rusev bounces back from it because, it's...
I want to see him continue on his tear streak. I don't want to see him lose to anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, he really didn't even need to feud with Cena. I think it was a good storyline going into WrestleMania and everything, but the problem is with the booking in general is that kind of very rarely do they kind of give somebody a push the way they did Rusev, but then inevitably it will be totally derailed by a loss to Cena. I mean, it's happened way too many times. Bray Wyatt, arguably. Wade Barrett.
They've done it with a few people, yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that Rusev should be world champion, even though I think he's a very accomplished performer. I've said before I see shades of Lesnar in him. But, it seems like once you hit your head on that glass ceiling or glass ceiling,
ouch.
Then
you kind of just bounce back down, right? And
well, yeah. I mean, you crack your head and they kind of forget about you.
I really hope he actually disappears for a little while and then comes back with a Fury. Because I would like to see that, and I think that's what he needs right now. Because he doesn't have an identity at the moment because Lana left him. Keep Lana on TV, take Rusev off TV for a couple months, for a little while, and then bring him back as a surprise for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Like Rocky training in Russia, put him in a Siberian House of Horrors training situation, and the vinaigrettes roll or vignettes.
The vinaigrettes. That is just wow. All right. Well, speaking of terrible mishearings, Global Force Wrestling will be crowning not one, not two, not three, but four champions at their first taping. More roster names have been confirmed through hype videos and press releases, including Shelton Benjamin, Scott Hall, Luke Hawx, Taiki Watanabe, Trent Beretta, the New Heavenly Bodies, Jimmy Rave, Jigsaw, Cliff Compton, Chuck Taylor, the Young Bucks, and Jimmy Cornette. WWE announced that Jason Albert had been promoted to head coach to NXT, and Sarah Amano is now the assistant head coach. And Adam Pearce is now employed as a full-time coach. WWE will also be signing Cedric Rougeau, the 6'7" son of Jacques Rougeau Jr., former NFL player Quinn Moose Onjika Aka resigned with Ring of Honor after being courted by Global Force as a potential major star, passing on a Tough Enough role.
So, I'm just going to lay it out there. The roster for Global Force is starting to look interesting. There are a few names that I never thought I'd see again, and to be perfectly honest, a couple of names I never wanted to see again, but this is looking good so far. What do you guys think?
It's a fair roster. It's about what to be expected, a certain couple ex-WWE guys who inevitably became ex-TNA guys, a few guys around the indie scene that are worth checking out. Of course, Jigsaw, who's been on TNA for a while, or has been on TNA before, I should say, as Rubik's. The Young Bucks, of course, you you can't really have an indie promotion without having the Young Bucks on there in some
I think
form
it's
or
really,
fashion.
I think it's really funny that the Young Bucks and Jim Cornette are mentioned pretty much side by side in the same sentence.
Yeah, I mean, if they could really actually turn that into something, kind of the way they did with Cornette and Steen, Steen and such, then that would certainly be a big launching point for Global Force. But again, it is pretty expected. We need to kind of see what they're doing with these guys. If they're just sort of having matches as usual, then it'll be okay. It'll probably be worth watching, but it won't necessarily be a spectacle.
I'm just hoping that they present some sort of new and unique sort of thing, because I feel like that this is like kind of pulling at strings a bit, and I don't know what makes NXT work and this doesn't, but I have a feeling that this really hasn't been working, and that they're just getting their shit together now because it's taken them that long to be able to do so. And that worries me when it comes to them actually producing a product, because if it's taking them this long to actually get their shit together, and it's taking them this long to pick out a roster, then how are we doing when it comes to actually them putting their boots to the ground and they decide to actually get themselves into gear? I'm very nervous about this. I really don't want this to turn into another USWA, and I really hope that this actually takes off and becomes a viable thing. But it'll only happen is if the booking is good and it's strong, and they have a really, really, really good TV penetration. I mean, they gotta have Batista's dick worth of penetration going on here.
That's kind of fucked. I don't know. I think them taking their time probably isn't all bad. It shows that they're putting thought into everything and not just rushing into it and potentially fucking it all up. That's probably for the best. We'll see what happens once they do get the boots on the mat and get things rolling. For how that's actually going to be as far as booking goes. But up to this point, I think them taking their time and making sure that they're doing things right and have their ducks in a row is probably for the best.
All right, we'll wrap up the news here. WWE is planning an Owen Hart DVD, but Martha Hart revealed she did not know about the project until it was announced, and that she does not support it in any way. The Rock is tapped to star in DreamWorks' Alpha Squad 7, which is shaping up to be a major franchise. Longtime WWE seamstress Sandra Gray left the company weeks ago, and indie wrestler and fiancée to Sasha Banks, Sarath Ton, has taken her place. Reports are that Bob Backlund cut a promo during Vern Gagne's funeral at an inappropriate time, though he denied it, saying he merely spoke up once WWE was mentioned, saying he was there representing the company and that they wished the best to the family. And Mayweather versus Pacquiao, that little boxing thing that happened while we were away, did 4.4 million pay-per-view buys, shattering the old record of 2.48 million for Mayweather versus De La Hoya.
Yeah, what can you say about this except at $9.99 a pay-per-view buy, I'm glad they made all that money because, the match itself was highway robbery.
Yes, it was. I at $100 a pop. I mean, really, did you expect anything less?
I don't know what I expected, but it was something better than that.
This is why I don't watch boxing.
Yes, this is why everyone doesn't watch boxing unless it's something like this. I think what's his face? Pacquiao took a fall, and I think it was completely worked. And I think Mayweather's an asshole.
Well, that much is obvious, but maybe
Right.
We'll just move on.
All right, let's do it. 15 minute time limit.
Hold on, I was going to say something about the first news bit, and then
Oh, what was it? Oh, go for it. It's Owen Hart.
Oh, yeah, how long until she sues?
Maybe a couple days after the DVD comes out.
Yeah, I think she's already lost some lawsuits.
She has. All right, it's time for the 15-minute time limit. We're going to be discussing the pay-per-view that just happened, not the one that happened on whatchamacallit, but the what is it? It's a stupid pay-per-view. I don't like
Payback.
Payback. Yes.
Well, you didn't pay that son of a bitch forward, that's for sure.
Nope. R-Truth defeated Stardust in the opening match.
You know, funny enough, in Pay It Forward, starring Billy Joe Osment, he was a big fan of wrestling, and there he had a Sting poster on his wall and WCW action figures.
I remember that name from somewhere. Anyway, was R-Truth versus Stardust any good? I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
I didn't see it either. I was a little late. I didn't even realize it happened. I was a little late getting into the pre-show.
That's it. Then it was a good match because nobody saw it. The Ascension, Connor and Victor defeated the Mega Powers of Curtis Axel and Macho Mandow. Please, Damien, please just be Damien Sandow. Please. I don't want you copying people.
Seriously, though. Can
You
we
had
just stop
such
now?
a great push. You had such a great push, and then they're like, "We're gonna saddle you with a joke gimmick." Come on, man.
But realistically, could he get himself? Is he really over as Sandow, or is it the mimicry that really pushed it?
Well, the mimicry got him there, but the fact that he was over. That's my point. The mimicry is over, sure, but it's not the only thing that's over.
Well, here's the thing. We'll never know if it's just the mimicry, if that's all they ever let him fucking do.
There you go. All right, moving on here because we have a lot to say about that. Sheamus defeated Dolph Ziggler.
And this, an okay match, but what did it stand out to you guys in any way? Because it didn't to me.
It wasn't bad. I felt it was a little. Well, they had Ziggler getting busted open, and they had Ziggler rubbing it and doing the sort of half stink face to Sheamus. That's all I really remember about it.
I forgot that it even happened at all.
This was a match?
It was a match.
Speaking of a match, the New Day with Big E and Kofi Kingston with Xavier Woods defeated Tyson Kidd and Cesaro in a 2 out of 3 falls match, which I was surprised was a 2 out of 3 falls match. I didn't even realize it was one. And I think the funniest part of this entire match was Xavier Woods being like, Freebird rule! Freebird rule!
Yes.
Trying to insert himself into the match. I thought that was funny as fuck.
It was fantastic.
Now, this is the one where Xavier Woods, it was only supposed to be Kofi and Big E, but Kofi got shoved out of the ring, and then Xavier Woods rolled in and got the pin, even though he wasn't in the match, on Tyson Kidd, and the ref was like 1, 2, 3, and didn't even notice it was Woods.
Right, because he's racist.
Super racist.
Super racist ref.
Online about you can't tell black people apart and all that stuff, and I was like, really? Really? You're gonna go there? You're gonna use that?
No, I'm saying, let's not even talk about that because it's dangerous territory. And I don't want the 3 people that listen to this show arguing about whether or not we're racist.
We are not racist.
We are not racist.
It was a pretty good. It was a pretty good effort by the honkies in this one.
Honky man, are you?
All right, we're moving on. We're moving on.
I will say,
no, you won't say it. We're moving on. Bray Wyatt defeated Ryback in a throwaway match.
I didn't think it was bad what I saw of it because the internet was spotty. So I kept having.
So was this match.
Yeah. Well, it's what you would expect between Bray Wyatt and Ryback for a match.
There were a lot of fair efforts. You could tell in the match they were trying different things. They had the when Wyatt leapt and kind of did the axe handle to the ring skirt. When Ryback went to the top and hit the splash, and when of course they did the top turnbuckle spot where the turnbuckle pad came loose. Haven't seen that one in a while.
It has been a good while since anyone's pulled the turnbuckle cover loose. I can't even remember what the last match that happened in was.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Last match that happened in was.
Hey, there was this new fresh guy. His name's John Cena. He defeated Rusev, who was with Lana in an I Quit match for the WWE United States Championship.
This is one of those matches where the internet went spotty and I missed the end of it. But I'm not surprised at all. I wasn't like, oh no, I'm missing the end of this match. It was like, well, I guess I'll go smoke.
Well, it's funny
Everyone knew it was coming.
Well, yeah, but it's funny because they did the thing where match had just started and Rusev was on the mic saying, I want you to say I quit right now. And Rusev technically said the words, so the match should have been over right then.
It should have been.
But
can we just take 1 second? Gunnar, you know how every time I bring up the TV title, you're like, no, that won't work. And you're wrong because that's exactly what John Cena is doing with the U.S. title, and it's working perfectly. So I just wanted to rub your face in that real quick.
Working perfectly for who?
For the title.
It's just a prop that's keeping Cena out of the main event scene and gives him the chance to say, the champ is here!
Well, here's the thing. They're bringing all these guys in and making them look fantastic against Cena. I mean, yeah, they're getting squashed at the end of the match. But
so you're saying that Sammy looked fantastic? You're saying that...
Oh, fuck yeah, Sammy looked good. I don't know how to say he did. He's fucking injured. Right? He's injured, and he goes through this whole fucking match and really gives Cena a run for his money, except for the 2 minutes at the end when, Cena no-sells. But he does that to everybody.
Right. So tell me something. Tell me something honestly here. This has done something for the belt. Why?
Because John Cena is a main event guy.
All right, how about this?
16-time world champion.
Better question. He might be all of that. But the next person that holds this, is this title going to matter half as much?
Well,
when the next person that holds
here's why it won't. Not because John Cena doesn't have it anymore. Because the guy that takes it from John Cena, that's going to be a huge rub on them. What's going to happen, though, is it's going to be somebody that WWE doesn't really give a shit about, and then they're just going to make it the regular mid-card hell belt that it was before. Potentially, though, like right now, this is good. Maybe like 2 weeks after Cena loses the belt, it's still good. But after that, that's when it starts, going to shit again.
So you're saying there's a pretty good chance that Bunny Cat's going to get the U.S. title again?
I would... No, I wouldn't be okay with that.
No? No?
No.
I actually foresee somebody else getting the title away from him.
I want someone from...
It's got to be somebody from NXT.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say.
And
I want it to be somebody from NXT. Yeah,
and
they come in, they take that title off of them, and then they look really good for like 2 weeks, and the WWE
Tyler Breeze.
fucking ruins
Tyler Breeze.
Well, seriously? Breeze?
Tyler Breeze.
Oh,
Breeze. He's been down in NXT too long, and he needs to come up to the main roster. And the only way to do that would be to give him a big push, and this would be his big push.
I just hope they get those stupid boots off of him before they bring him up. God, those look awful.
Don't get me
they
wrong.
look like
Look amazing.
Oh, it's so terrible.
Neville defeated King Barrett by countout, by the way.
It's a thing
that was a fun
happened.
match. It was a fun match. I just wish they were able to go longer. And then Seth Rollins with Jamie Noble and Joe B. Mercury defeated Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton in the most entertaining match of the night.
Are we intentionally skipping over Naomi and Tamina defeating the Bella Twins, who I am so glad Tamina is back?
Who?
Naomi and Tamina defeated the Bella Twins. Tamina! Tamina, Snooka's kid!
Yeah, we are. The thing about the main event, there were some... When Roman leapt over the top rope, that was pretty neat. He needs to do more things like that.
Yep. He needs to do more things. He needs to do more neat things.
The
Him
Shield,
and, yeah, that was awesome.
the Shield reuniting there for a minute.
Yeah, and him and Ambrose squaring off in the ring, but not in a, I hate you and I'm going to kick your ass way, but it's always fun for me when it's like two buddies in the ring, and even after the match and they beat the shit out of each other, they're still going to be like, hey, let's go get a beer. Like, that's always a fun thing for me. I don't know why.
I dare say they were actually pretty smart with the way they booked this one, because, however many minutes into the match, Kane pulls a guy out and clocks him, and from that moment on, it's not going to be a good wrestling match. It's going to be, how long are they going to go until all this interference just keeps happening and Rollins gets the pin. But that being said, when they accomplished the Shield powerbomb spot, and then the Ambrose Roman thing, and then doing the finishers, and then the coup de grace of Rollins using the pedigree. So, I think, for a match that when you do a match that everybody knows the ending to, then that's kind of what you have to do, is fill the time smartly, which I think they actually did, to their credit.
Is that it? I don't have time. Who has time?
Oh, yeah. That was supposed to be me, wasn't it?
God damn it, Dexter, you have one job. Well, you have two jobs, but there's only one of those jobs that you usually do well, because it's don't be annoying and keep the time. We've pretty much forgotten about the first one and just let it go, because that's never going to happen. But the second one, can you at least just...
Well, I can when my cat doesn't want in and out constantly.
Well, is it time?
Yes, it's time. I mean, we're out here. I say it's time. So does Gus.
Is Gunner going to hit the thing?
Gunner, you there? Uh-oh.
Okay, well then I'll do it. Hold on. Let's see here. Here it is. Time. With that said, here is, I guess, me with the ratings. Impact, featuring the Hardcore War, was up 10% with 395,000 viewers compared to last week's 358,000. SmackDown drew 2.528 million viewers. That's down from last week's 2.575. And Raw drew 3.999 million. That's 3.999. Up from last week's 3.69. Wow, I kind of like the 3.69 better.
Well, you move the decimal place over one, and Vince can have himself another commercial.
Alright, here we go. It's the birthdays. It's Nat Jester, I guess, or whatever.
Well, because nobody else is here, I'll take the birthdays. On the 13th of this week, we have none other than NBA legend and the Worm himself, Dennis Rodman. On the 14th, we have Long Island Ice Z, Zack Ryder. The man they call Vader, and Dr. Death, Steve Williams. On the 15th, we have the legendary Texas Tornado. Wait a minute. No. Yeah, wrong Von Erich. Okay, never mind.
I always get them confused.
Yeah, we have Kevin Von Erich, and we have none other than Farouk himself. On the 16th, we have Cody Deaner and...
Did you just tell him to Farouk himself?
I could. I would do it if he was standing next to me.
Damn!
That. Exactly. On the 16th, we have Cody Deaner and The Godfather.
Did you just call him Cody Deaner? Really?
Deaner.
Yes, you want to eat some food, so you want some Deaner.
Yeah, one time him and his cousins touched Winter. Winter is cold.
Okay, I'm going to move on here. On the 17th, we have none other than one of the legends of professional wrestling managedom, none other than woman herself, Nancy Benoit, and Earl Hebner, and Alex Wright. On the 18th, we have the Blue Meaty. Meanie.
The blue meaty. It's like blue cheese, but with meat.
Blue cheese, but with meat. Yeah, let's dye my hot dog blue. And Kaz Hayashi, and none other than the legendary Superfly Jimmy Snuka. On the 19th, we have the immortal Andre the Giant, and the legendary Dick Slater. What? Now what?
Okay, first of all, Hogan was the immortal, not Andre.
Title in my mind.
Also, can you go a little faster?
Yeah.
Right, I'm putting it. On the 20th, we have the Road Dogg Jesse James and KC James. On the 21st, we have the Canadian criminal.
Redacted.
Okay, but somebody put
Keep
it
going.
there.
Keep going.
The legendary hero of my childhood, Mr. T, the Sheik, and Mike Taylor. On the 22nd, we have Tracy Brooks, none other than Goatface himself, Daniel Bryan, Cyclope, and Flying Brian Pillman. On the 23rd, we have Drew Carey. Don't ask me why. On the 24th, we have no one in professional wrestling with a birthday. On the 25th, we have Judas Macias, Dos Caras Jr., Hiro Sato, and some dude by the name of Roman Reigns, whoever he is. And finishing out on the 26th, we have Simon Diamond and La Sombrera.
I swear that was the longest birthdays ever.
Well, that was 2 weeks worth of birthdays. Yeah, so. And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, this weekend, wrestling history, circa 1984, where New Japan Pro Wrestling held a show in Nagasaki, Japan, featuring a main event of Antonio Inoki, Seiji Sakaguchi, and Tatsumi Fujinami, defeating WWF World Champion Hulk Hogan, The Masked Superstar, and John Quinn.
Who?
John Quinn. Jump to 1998, where WCW Slamboree saw a cruiserweight battle royal won by Cyclope, who earned an immediate championship match. However, he unmasked himself to reveal himself as Dean Malenko, who then defeated Chris Jericho to win the gold with the Texas Cloverleaf. And in 2002, the first pay-per-view following the name change to WWE from WWF, Judgment Day, was held in Nashville. Steve Austin defeated Big Show and Ric Flair in a handicap match. Triple H defeated Chris Jericho in Hell in a Cell. And Undertaker defeated Hulk Hogan to capture the WWE Undisputed World title in the main event. And that was this weekend. wrestling history.
All right, let's see here. We've got some happy trails. Happy trails to relations of former creative writer Joe Franciosi, who passed away on Friday. He was responsible for the segment in which William Shatner sang superstar theme songs. Happy trails to Scott Hall, who was reportedly too intoxicated to perform at an indie show in New Jersey this past weekend, being escorted from the building. And in a much lighter note, happy trails to Sunny, who is apparently about to sign a 6-figure porn deal with Vivid, according to TMZ. She's going to make 3 films.
Okay, no.
Real hardcore porn from Sunny.
But she doesn't look good anymore.
Well, that's, are you, okay, here's the question. Are you going to watch?
Well, of course. No.
Are you going to pay money to watch?
I'd rather watch China and her porn than I would Sunny and.
Whoa!
Wow. I wonder if they'll do it. I wonder if they'll do a deal together.
Sunny did. I'm putting it out there.
I wonder if they'll do a deal together.
I doubt it. But one more thing, as many of you might or might not know, I've got a super indie show coming up that I'm going to on the 11th, and Scott Hall's going to be there. Oh, God. Ugh.
Well, good luck with that. You mean the 11th of next month?
On June, yeah, the 11th of June.
All right. Well, what should we watch this week?
We obviously wish him the best. I like to think, the path to recovery is not about never doing something again. It's about being in control, that you can stumble, and then if it doesn't work, then you get back on the
on the horse.
I know I had something for this. No, not a horse. Like a stallion.
Well, yeah. I just hope that he's all right and that he can actually bounce back from this, because I think he can. I'm sure he can.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's a lifetime commitment to do such things. You can't just say you're cured.
Right. Okay. What should we watch this week in wrestling? Yankum DDS. If you're paying attention.
The thing that I have to watch still, the NXT Takeover. I haven't watched it yet, but it was fantastic. All the matches were really good. So that.
Jester, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, since a certain Samoan has made an NXT debut, I would say go back to one of my favorite matches of his. During the early days of TNA when he was there, he had a match with none other than Japanese professional wrestling legend Jushin Thunder Liger. So look up Thunder Liger versus Samoa Joe on TNA, and I thought it was actually a pretty good match.
Omega, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Something that hasn't happened yet. This Sunday at 5 p.m. Mexico City time, they're having the Lucha Libre World Cup Trios. It will feature teams from AAA, Pro Wrestling Noah, TNA, Ring of Honor. Really, it's kind of a mix of teams. I think Matt Hardy, Mr. Anderson, and Johnny Mundo are on the team. As are, of course, Sin Cara, the original Sin Cara, Mystiz, Alberto El Patron, and Rey Mysterio. And you can see it on iPay-per-view at Internet TV Lucha Libre World Cup.com.
I am so looking forward to that, it's not even funny. That looks really, really good, and I really want to see it. I'm trying to find from the ROH pay-per-view that happened over the weekend, the iPay-per-view where New Japan came in.
That wasn't Winner Takes All, was it?
War of the Worlds, actually. War of the Worlds 15. Give me a second here. I'll tell you exactly which match you should be watching. Night 1, beyond Gato defeating Delirious, which I just find to be really, really funny. Chaos versus the Briscoes. Okada and Nakamura against Jay and Mark. Fucking phenomenal. Also, Jay Briscoe going up against Bobby Fish for the ROH World Championship. I love Bobby Fish. I love Bobby Fish. He is the man. I know him. I've met him. He's a really good guy, and I'm so happy that he's found so much success. And he deserves every second of what he's getting right now. Alright, so guess what? That's it for this week. Thank you very, very much for listening. You can check us out online at smarksnark.com, smarksnark.com twitter.com/smarksnark, facebook.com/smarksnark. You can give us a call, 812-408-9666, or that's 812-408-WOO. You could also email us at smarksnark@gmail.com. And I think that's it. Did I miss anything?
Don't think so.
Alrighty then. So, thank you very much for listening, and remember, we wish you well in your past, present, and future endeavors.
Good night, Huntington Beach.